Good morning, everyone. Wow, what a rush. 25 years later, $1 billion company. Dr. Wentz, you must feel so gratified to see your vision come to life. What a wonderful, wonderful time to be here. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the process of scientific discovery. And I'd like to do so by providing a brief history of antioxidant research and weave this into a story about a small company that dared to be different. Contrary to what many people think, science is not the truth cast in stone. Science is a way of thinking, of using observation and measurement to build an evidence-based perspective of the world around us. And in some respects, science is a journey that is forever in progress. As new evidence comes forward, old ideas are revised, even discarded, depending upon how that new evidence either fits or disrupts the old paradigm. This past century, we have witnessed a quantum leap in our understanding of the secrets of the human cell, driven largely by innovations in technology. From the illumination of the nature of the chemical bond and the prediction of a supercharged species of oxygen by Linus Pauling way back in the 1920s and 30s, to the discovery of the molecular structure of DNA by Francis Crick James Watson, 1953, from the focus on free radical biology in the putative role of biological antioxidants, and during the 1950s and the 60s and 70s, to the mapping of 6 billion base pairs in the human genome in the 1990s. And to the revelation only in the last decade of how microscopic switches inside the cell can prompt it to stimulate a healthy cellular response to oxidative damage, such as nuclear factor kappa beta. We have witnessed so many changes in our understanding of how biology works. It seems that the process of creative chaos, new discoveries continually rewire our scientific thinking. But as Albert Einstein once said, if we knew what we were doing, it really wouldn't be called research, now would it? During the 1950s, for example, Denham Harman was ridiculed for his publishing of the free radical theory of aging. At the time, scientific hubris was that free radicals could not possibly exist in living cells. But by the 1960s, that story had changed. And discussion of how to snuff out these bad dudes called free radicals was taking place. Then in the 1970s and the 1980s, researchers came to understand that free radical generation within the cell was an obligatory function of all living things. And getting rid of all free radicals was now considered a foolish mistake. That's how science progresses. In the early 1990s, a fledgling company in Utah introduced a line of nutritional products that addressed the issue of antioxidants as few others had at the time. Their flagship product offered an innovative bioflavonoid cruciferous extract complex that contained several plant-based compounds, including the common flavonoid quercetin. And not long after that, a Finnish study revealed that diets rich in these similar nutrients had demonstrated a strong protective effect against cell injury. Moreover, this effect didn't come from the common dietary oxidants of the day, vitamin C, vitamin E, beta-carotene. The effect was almost entirely due to a small molecular weight polyphenol found in our fresh fruits and vegetables. That compound was quercetin, a common flavonoid. 1998 saw a new and improved formulation from this growing company that included a mixture of bioflavonoids, quercetin, rutin, hesperidin, along with a number of other compounds that researchers had identified as invoking a strong protective cellular response. This small but growing Utah-based company called itself USANA, True Health. And from the get-go, right from the get-go, it was clearly ahead of the curve, incorporating these novel findings into a steadily improving, evolving product formulation. Just like the science was evolving, so was the formulation. Evolution of USANA's flagship product, the Essentials, continued in 2001, founded on strong epidemiological evidence of the importance of the Mediterranean diet, known to be rich in these polyphenols. In 2002, olive oil, a potent and patented olive extract, further enriched the Essentials formulation, complementing the mixed polyphenols that were added way back in 1998. Then on other scientific fronts, the largest project in the history of science, the mapping of the human genome, was completed in 2003. And from the mountains of data gathered from this initiative, the research confirmed that far from being the perceived bullies on the block, endogenous or internal free radicals, in fact, played an evolutionarily conserved role in cell signaling and survival. Converging lines of evidence also demonstrated that key molecular switches, which first appeared in 1998, appear to regulate the cell's balance of oxidative and reductive forces, called redox balance, through the modification of the expression of genes. This finding opened a line of thought amongst the researchers that biologically relevant antioxidant protection may be operating in an entirely unthought of manner, and that involved a process of communication called cell signaling. Then in 2006, the finding that gamma tocopherol, which is a special form of vitamin E, supports a healthy inflammatory response by directly silencing one of those nuclear switches, nuclear factor kappa beta, added gravitas to the growing consensus of antioxidant-based cell signaling. Small wonder that USANA researchers seized this opportunity to incorporate gamma tocopherol along with mixed polyphenols from pomegranate, from cinnamon extracts into their product formulation. Well, in 2008, polyphenols were finally recognized as being powerful cell signaling agents, and several lines of research from throughout the world confirmed that polyphenols, which contain over 8,000 varieties, generally appear to control key cellular redox sensors, these molecular switches. With these findings, the long-standing paradigm of how antioxidants really work was about to be turned on its head. In 2010, Michael Hollick publishes his treatise on vitamin D, and he reported that the hormone speaks to over 2,000 genes in our human genome. This is clear, dramatic evidence of the nutrient's vast influence in cell signaling. Consensus is now building in the scientific community that cell signaling and not brute force free radical quenching, hand-to-hand combat with free radicals, cell signaling may in fact be the most important means by which antioxidants attenuate oxidative stress in the cell, completely turning it on its head. From this concept of nutritionally targeted cell signaling as a means of supporting health begins to to take hold. And about the time of Hollick's announcement, USANA's researchers were already well on their way to increasing the vitamin D content of the Essentials formulation from 600 to 1,800 international units. Once again, embracing the emergent science. Then, Rajinder Sohal, University of California, announces his 2012 finding that age-related impairment in the cell's oxidative balance, its redox status, not the accumulation of molecular garbage that was previously believed, was the causative factor in cellular aging. Other studies confirm that the locus of control of cellular redox balance, in fact, lies in a handful of nuclear transcription factors, these signaling molecules and key enzymes, precisely the same targets that appear to be influenced by the brightly colored polyphenols in the ripening fruits and vegetables of a healthy diet. But the evidence is still confusing. The looking glass still not clear. While true antioxidants at the high concentrations that we find in the plants, the absorption, the bioavailability of polyphenols in human cells is far, far lower than that required to do direct hand-to-hand combat with free radicals. There has to be something else at play. The year 2014 provides a possible answer to this conundrum in a seminal analysis by Dr. Henry Foreman, University of California. He advances the argument that biological free radical scavenging, as we used to know it, is simply not possible due to the constant constraints of concentration and reaction kinetics. According to Foreman, these antioxidant polyphenols are capable of acting at exquisitely low levels within the cell as mild toxins, as mild oxidants. And in doing so, they're able to signal to the antioxidant genes in our cell to defend against larger, more dangerous oxidative insults. You see, Foreman's thesis is elegant in its ability to cut through this perpetual fog of science, and it provides a plausible mechanism involving cell signaling and the phenomenon known as xenohormesis, where minuscule doses of compounds from an entirely different species, such as the polyphenols in the ripening fruits, can prompt an adaptive response in the animal consumer. This is completely new information. For clarity, let's review his thesis with this mechanistic example of a common polyphenol called quercetin. You see, quercetin is a true antioxidant in the apple in high concentrations, but when eaten by our human host, the concentration in the cell gets very low. It's oxidized in the gut to what is called its quinone form. And this oxidized quercetin is a mild toxin, and it's capable of acting at infinitely small doses to prompt a protective response, to tell the cell to wake up and get ready for a more serious oxidative challenge in the future. Quercetin quinones cleave nuclear factor NRF2 from its anchoring protein, allowing it to migrate to the nucleus. And within the nucleus, NRF2, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the full name. It stimulates hundreds of other genes that manufacture our own endogenous antioxidant proteins. This ramps up the cell's antioxidant defense systems, brings out the big guns to restore oxidative balance. So there we have it, a plausible mechanistic model of how a plant compound can elicit an evolutionarily conserved protective response in an entirely different species. Foreman's thesis supports the development of targeted nutritional protocols using the tools, the very tools that Mother Nature has long provided. And this appears to be exactly where USANA's recent revolution in cellular nutrition is heading. Instead of massive bombing runs using large doses of common dietary antioxidants, USANA's targeted approach promises to redefine the industry. Folks, this really does mark the dawn of a new understanding in our approach to antioxidants and optimal health. And it's one that I believe will exploit nature's evolutionarily conserved capacity to defend and protect. Like USANA, the past several years have found NutriSearch buried in this same literature, redefining our analytical model from the ground up and developing a completely new criteria for product evaluation. That's why I'm so very proud to announce today, now that the books are all sold out, the 6th edition of the NutriSearch Comparative Guide to Nutritional Supplements, which is available or was available at convention in 4 official languages. And for those of you in Korea, I've got good news for you. It'll soon be translated into Korean. This guide reintroduces the concept of oxidative stress from a completely new angle and helps explain the latest research on how biological antioxidants really work. And after reviewing the latest products in several marketplaces, I can say with confidence that the new Cell Essentials with Intelligence technology is going to revolutionize this industry. Folks, this product is a game changer. The reason is simple. The new plant-based Cell Essentials formulation speaks to the soul of the cell. With selected and recognized signaling compounds, the Cell Essentials formulation is a product that is well ahead of the curve. In our newest edition of the guide, USANA's newly reformulated Cell Essentials is the only product to rate our top-level Platinum Plus recognition in all markets that we have reviewed to date. So congratulations, USANA. Congratulations for staying true to the science and for continuing to illuminate the path to optimal health through quality product and product innovation. Thanks very much. It's been great being with you today. Bye-bye.